What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. Hope everybody's doing well, and let's dive straight into things. Hopefully you've watched yesterday's video. If not, I do highly suggest you go and watch it, as we've had a pretty accurate day in terms of delivery to the downside. And yeah, you can see we're starting to trade in towards this fair value gap, which I drew our attention to yesterday. We failed to create any kind of high, so it was a very bearish day to say the least. And moving into tomorrow, I'm not expecting too much of a big candle. I'm thinking it's probably going to be another down close candle with wicks taken out. Ideally Monday's low, and then maybe wicking back into this range. I think we're going to stay within the range that we've created. Well, not stay within the range that we've created, but I mean run these lows and then close within the range of Monday. So if we know that price is likely going to close, well, not likely, but if we're looking for price to close in Monday's range, it wouldn't be silly of us to mark out the high and low of it, just so that we can acknowledge if and when sell stops get taken, and then based off these we should be able to look at the quarters. Now I'm not going to split up the whole day into quarters, because we can just reference that with our eyes alone. Like, we can kind of eyeball it, especially on the 4 hour, etc., which is where I'd anticipate there to be a level of resistance and whatnot. So here you can see we traded down, taking out this low, and then tomorrow I wouldn't be surprised if we wanted to trade down into that discount again before getting a reversal or some kind of pullback into the range. There's not really much more that I want to discuss on the back of that. It's just very interesting to see the day. You can see a classic return to equilibrium right here. Once the range was created, right back up to equilibrium, price has broken lower. So now I'm looking for price to get maybe back below these lows, and then I'd want to see us trade back out and back below and higher out of it. So it'd be nice to see if we can fill this fair value gap, and then if we drop below these lows, then it's likely we're going to take out these lows. If price fails to take out this low, so this bullish order block, then that means that we'll likely just fill this fair value gap, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So there's a fair value gap between this high and this low. Now there's a gap there. If price fails to take out the midpoint of here, then we'll likely see a continued expansion to the upside, and we can start thinking about filling this range. But if price does run this low out, then it's likely it's going to take out this low, Monday's low. However, I do doubt it's going to take out this low, and I say that because I'm looking at the way price has structured itself. So you see how price has managed to take out that level right there today. We created this low, rallied, came down, grabbed stops, and then expanded. The fact that we've already tagged this low is suggesting to me that price doesn't need to necessarily come all the way down here. So I'm just going to allow price to get to the deepest it can get, which would be the bottom of this fair value gap, and I'll just reverse it. So between this high and this low, ideally to the low of it, and then I want to see price start to come out of that. So I hope that will make sense. But yeah, very interesting day to say the least, and we've also got a breaker there as well to help support that theory. Low, high, low, low, last up close candle. So ideally, if price can tap into that up close candle at some point, it'll be nice to potentially look for potential longs there on the back of dollar, assuming that it shows the support and willingness to turn around within it. And then I'd want to see us fill this fair value gap. Also, we've got some beautiful relative equal highs up here as well, and a whole gap that we've created. So there is demand for price to be up in that premium. So with that all taken into account, and that means that we can obviously expect that it's potential for price, if dollar's going to return back inside of its range, we can expect pound to roll over to the downside. Now similarly, pound has taken out a level of stops. Has it even taken it out? Just about. It just about took out this high, as you can see right there. So as far as I'm concerned, price doesn't necessarily need to tag it again. We can look at this long wick. You already know it. I'm going to split it into quarters, looking at that 50% level more specifically as being the highest. I'd ideally want to see price trading tomorrow for me to have that turnaround in line with dollar, with the expectation then to trade back down into this range. So let's go to the 4 hour and take a closer look, and you'll see that we have a rejection block level above here. So I'm happy for price to rally up into this range, but ideally this will be very sensitive and send price lower. After that, I'd be looking for this bullish order block to get traded to, and then we have a massive fair value gap between this low, this high and this low. This is a fair value gap, so it'd be nice to see if this can start to get filled once it has done its premium trading, and ideally that happens during London, because that will give us a classic setup. We do have another breaker, just like what we saw on dollar. We've got a low, a high, a lower low, and an expansion. So if price is going to go anywhere, this is where I'd want to see it trade. Furthermore, if we look at the current trading range between this high and this low, we haven't come down back to equilibrium, and it's classic for price to do that. So it'd be nice to see if price can get down into that moving into Tuesday. So let's go to the 1 hour, just out of curiosity. Not really much. It is quite clean price action today. I was very impressed. Again, there's that breaker. More specifically, this is the last up close, so we can get try and home in on that breaker, very specifically this last up close here. So I'll be paying very close attention to this candle specifically tomorrow to see if price can tap into that and the reaction we get away from it, because I'd expect it to be sensitive to price, in line with dollar, as I was saying, potentially rallying into some kind of premium, maybe tapping into this breaker low, high, low, high, high. So right here, and then seeing how price responds to that, and we might find ourselves gyrating a little bit before the high impact news on Thursday, which I spoke about yesterday, was suggesting that we may get a nice weekly reversal on the back of it. So we're going to finish up on Euro USD, same thing. I'm looking at the breaker. We took out some level of lows, but let's go to the daily. Oh, high, sorry. So we ran some buy stops here just as anticipated. I called all of this yesterday and it done it absolutely gorgeously. So now what we're looking for is this wick to see if it can send us back down. Because I want, like I said, I'm not surprised if we're going to see some kind of duration before some more expansion. And then we'll go to the 4 hour. We have a rejection block level right here. So again, if price manages to rally up into that, that would be very sensitive, but it may not even do that. We do have a 4 hour fair value gap right here first, so that should be its next line of defense, so to speak. Specifically the 50% level would be nice to think that price can't get above that. That would be nice and bearish for us, and then I'll be looking for us to trade down into this 4 hour wicks range and then potentially fill the fair value gap in the discount, but of course there's no need for it to do all of that. So here we are. Again, I expect to rally first, and then I'd want to see price turn around on the back of it. And same happening here. So again, GBP we want to see drop, rally before dropping. Dollar we want to see drop slightly before rallying, and then euro we want to see rallying before dropping, filling this fair value gap, and then I'll be looking for that Monday low to get taken. And we've got this massive range down here, and then that low hasn't been taken yet. So I feel like when euro does drop, it's going to run these lows pretty nicely. But overall, I'm not anticipating price to get any higher than this tomorrow. That would be ideal, and that would set us up with some nice trading setups. So yeah, that's going to be everything. I hope that all makes sense. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, smash subscribe, join the mailing, join the Discord. All the links are in the description. Hope you found this insightful. Do go and watch yesterday's video if you haven't yet, and you'll see all the context and how accurate we were today. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.